องเช่าของเราไม่ใหญ่ไปมากกว่าเรือลำนี้นี่มันแพงมากกว่าเงินทั้งชีวิตของคุณซะอีกนะเนี่ย
A striking woman leans against the cabin top of her sailing boat, smiling as you approach. Her green raincoat glistens with droplets.
ผู้หญิง
A
วัย
silk
กลาง
scarf
คน
is
หนึ่ง
tied around her throat.
ยืนพิงเป็นนักพิงที่อยู่บนด้านหน้าของเรือใบยิ้มให้กับการมาถึงของคุณร่มกันฝนสีเขียวนั้นสะท้อนระยิบระยับกับฝนที่เทลงมาผ้าพันคอไหมเนี่ยก็ผูกรอบๆคอของเขาของเจ้าหล่อน
Good afternoon, officers.
สวัสดีกลางวันท่านเจ้าหน้าที่ฉันชื่อจอยส์โบกมือเพื่อการทักทาย
Joyce L. Messier. I represent the board of Wild Pines, the owners of the harbour. You gentlemen must be from the RCM.
Joyce L. Messier เป็นคนที่ดูแลบอร์ดของวายพายเป็นเจ้าของท่าเรือแห่งนี้ท่าเรือไม่ใช่ท่าเรือแห่งนี้ท่าเรือของวายพายท่านทั้งสองคงจะเป็นเจ้าหน้าที่จาก RCM หรือตำรวจกลางเธอเข้ามาใกล้ขึ้นแล้วก็จับรั้วของเรือจอย L ย่อมาจากอะไร
My maiden name.
ชื่อกลางคือเลตันจอยส์เลตันเมเซียร์จับมือหน่อย
I'm glad to see you here.
Like steel, there is strength there. If she wanted, she could sink her nails deep into your skin.
ถ้าเธอต้องการเธอสามารถจกเล็บเข้าไปในหนังของคุณได้เลยถือว่าแบบมือหยาบกร้าน
I was dispatched to handle a strike, not a lynching. Anything I can do to assist the RCM in this matter, I will, gladly.
มาที่นี่เพื่อที่จะควบคุมสถานการณ์การจราจรไม่ได้มาเข้าร่วมการแบบประชาทัณฑ์เกี่ยวกับการประท้วงถ้าอะไรที่ฉันทำได้ที่ฉันช่วยในการสืบสวนของ RCM นั้นก็ยินดี
That is good to hear, Madam.
ได้ยินแบบนั้น
My
ก็ดีนะครับ
colleague
มาดาม
will take the lead on this interview. I should let you know that he is recovering from an unusual medical episode. Very unusual. But I can assure you of his ultimate competency.
ต้องการที่จะสอบถามสัมภาษณ์นิดหน่อยแล้วก็ผมควรจะบอกให้คุณรู้ว่าคู่หูของผมเนี่ยจะมีผลข้างเคียงจากการบำบัดอะไรเล็กน้อยที่ทำให้แบบว่าไม่ค่อยแบบปกติว่า ultimate competent มีการผลข้างเคียงจากการบำบัดที่แบบไม่ค่อยปกติแต่ว่าเชื่อได้เลยว่าเขาเนี่ยมีฝีมืออย่างไม่ต้องมีฝีมือระดับสุดยอดเลย competency นี่แปลว่าความสามารถ
There's a trace of irony in his voice, mischief even. This is a tactic.
นี่เป็นเทคนิคที่พาร์ทเนอร์เราวางไว้ให้
It happens quicker than a shooting star. But did the lieutenant just wink at you?
นี่เหมือนไวอย่างกับดาวตกเลยผู้หมวดนั้นกระพริบวิ่งตาให้เรางั้นเหรอ
How interesting.
โอ้เยี่ยมฉัน
I
น่าส
wish
น
you
ใจ
a
เหลือเกิน
swift recovery. In the meanwhile, you have my full cooperation and the full cooperation of the Wild Pines Group.
ฉันหวังว่าคุณจะฟื้นฟูได้ไวนะในขณะที่ฉันเนี่ยจะให้ความร่วมมืออย่างเต็มที่เลย ด้วยการร่วมมือของกลุ่มท่าเรือไวพายเลยทีเดียวไวพายเป็นทำอะไรอยู่ไวพาย
What we do. I'm afraid I don't speak for Wild Pines as a whole. It's a giant undertaking.
ก็จะฉันพูดได้คนเดียวไม่หมดหรอกนะว่าไวพายทำ
There
อะไร
was a touch of discomfort there. She wants to merely represent.
เหมือนว่าไม่ค่อยอยากจะพูดถึงฉันไม่ค่อยอยากจะพูดถึงเท่าไหร่
She nods.
No doubt this literally การจราจร
Everything. Right up to, but not including, trade secrets.
มาทำอะไรที่นี่
I believe the official title is Senior Labour Negotiator. In practice, I'm a grocery clerk. I relay the union's demands to Wild Pines and return with Wild Pines' counteroffer.
นักเจรจาต่อรอง
No way. She's more. She can make decisions.
เธอไม่ได้เป็นแค่นักเจรจาหรอกเธอมีหน้าที่ในการตัดสินใจด้วยแน่นอน
And how are the talks going?
แล้วการพูดคุยเป็นไงบ้าง
They're not. That's the problem. The union
Pok
stopped
kami
all
tatlong.
negotiations a week ago after that awful lynching took place.
ยูเนียนเนี่ยหยุดทุกการเจรจาต่อรองเมื่อสัปดาห์ที่แล้วก่อนที่การจราจรจะเกิดขึ้น
Wait. She just admitted that the lynching and the strike are connected.
ลินชิ่งคือการประชาทัณฑ์ก็คือศพที่เราเจอเหมือนกับว่าการฆาตกรรมในการประชาทัณฑ์กับการก่อจราจรเนี่ยมันเชื่อมโยงกันอย่างนั้นแหละ
Now they won't even let me into the harbour. There's a 2-meter-20 racist behemoth blocking the gates.
ตอนนี้พวกเขาห้ามไม่ให้ฉันเข้าไปที่ท่าเรือที่นั่นมียักษ์จอมเหยียดอยู่ที่ขวางทางอยู่ที่ประตูอันเราเคยเจอแล้วคือจีนลุกเป็นนักกล้ามเลสเมนเทอร์ เขาเป็นครูที่ดีเลยนะ
Oh, so you've met him.
นั้นเจอเขา
Has
แล้ว
he
นะ
beguiled you with his inane theories?
แล้วเขาพูดถึงทฤษฎีของเขาหรือเปล่า
My colleague has his peculiarities. Let's not go into this particular one just yet.
Of course. To each their own.
แล้วการก่อจราจรเกี่ยวข้องกับการประชาทัณฑ์ด้วย
Yes, I believe there is a connection.
น่าจะมีความเกี่ยว
But
ข้อง
that's
นะ
a subject for later.
แต่ว่าหัวข้อนี้ทีหลังแล้วกันการเจรจาเป็นยังไงก่อนที่จะเกิดการประชาทัณฑ์ขึ้น
Let's say I was not making the kind of progress I'd hoped for when I first arrived.
หวังว่าจะคืบหน้าไปได้เมื่อตอนที่มาถึง
And when did you first arrive?
ตอนไหนที่มาถึงครั้งแรก
I arrived 3 weeks ago.
3 สัปดาห์
Yes,
ที่
in
แล้
the
ว
middle of February. The bay was still partially frozen then. I prefer to do these things on site, like the RCM.
ตอนในกลางเดือนกุมภาพันธ์ชายหาดเนี่ยก็แทบจะเป็นน้ำแข็งไปหมดแล้วแล้วก็ฉันก็เสนอแนวทางในการทำพวกสิ่งนี้เหมือนกับพวกตำรวจกลางนั่นแหละ
But the strike began in December.
แต่ว่าการก่อจราจรเนี่ยมันเกิดขึ้นเมื่อตอนเดือนธันวาคมไม่ใช่เหรอ
I wasn't the original negotiator here. I took over after Mr. Gaumont hit a wall with Mr. Clare, the union boss. Mr. Clare refused to speak with Gaumont despite concessions he granted the union in prior negotiations.
แปลก จะไม่ใช่นักเจรจาตัวหลักที่นี่จะรับหน้าที่ต่อจากมิสเตอร์กามอนในการพูดคุยกับมิสเตอร์แคลร์ที่เป็นหัวหน้าของยูเนียนที่นี่มิสเตอร์แคลร์เนี่ยปฏิเสธที่จะพูดกับผู้นักเจรจาคนเก่าconcession ปฏิเสธที่จะคุยกับกามอนเว้นแต่ว่าจะยกให้ยูเนียนเนี่ยเป็น priority หลักในการต่อรองครั้งนี้
This isn't the first time the union has gone on strike.
นี่ไม่ใช่ครั้งแรกที่ยูเนียนโดนถล่มใช่ไหม
Heavens no. There have been
ไม่
two
ใช่อยู่แล้
prior
ว
strikes. Both times the union won significant concessions, including overtime pay and a medical plan. This time their demands are more, I guess you could say, aggressive.
หลักๆก็มีการประท้วงเกิดขึ้น2 ครั้งแล้วก็ยูเนียนก็ชนะการต่อรองทุกครั้งเลยแล้วก็บวกกับการเพิ่ม this time they demand and more I guess แบบเรียกค่าอะไรเยอะขึ้น
Ludicrous even. It's meant.
ludicrous คืออะไรน่าตลกหน้าหัวเราะช่างหน้าหัวเราะสิจริงพวกเขาต้องการอะไร
There are leaflets everywhere and banners. What did they say again? Oh yes.
ก็ต้องการปกครองแล้วก็กว้านซื้อให้หมด
Every worker, a member of the board.
ทุกคนงานทุกคนแล้วก็สมาชิกของบอร์ดบริหารด้วย
Most of the workers probably don't know what that means.
คนงานส่วนใหญ่แทบไม่รู้เลยเกี่ยวกับประเด็นนี้นะมันเผด็จการไปหน่อยนะ
In its defense, another said, demand democracy. Pretty tame stuff compared to every worker, a member of the board.
ถ้าพูดให้มันไพเราะก็คือมันคือเสรีการค้าแบบเสรีนิยมนะพวกเขาทั้งหมดแทบไม่รู้เลยว่ามันหมายถึงอะไร
Fortunately, they explained it. Every time the Wild Pines group makes a decision about anything, it needs the signature of each of the 2,200 workers in its Martinez terminal. Just so you understand, this is but one of 22 terminals owned by Wild Pines. Essentially, not only are they kings of the company, they are also kings of the 72,000 employees of Wild Pines Group.
ไม่ใช่แค่22เทอร์มินอลที่เป็นของ Wi-Fi นะแต่ว่าเป็นราชาของกิจการด้วยมีพนักงานอยู่ 72,000 คนใน Wi-Fi Group
having a blast. But how can they afford it? After 4 months, my assumption was they would prefer a more practical solution.
ต้องการแก้ปัญหาอย่างเร่งด่วนเลยแล้วจะทำอะไรอ่ะ
I'm not sure.
ก็ไม่รู้เหมือนกัน
Naturally,
นะ
I
แต่ว่า
assume that was just their opening position, a hard-nosed tactic with a side of mockery. But there's been no follow-up, just the same nonsensical slogan repeated over and over again.
ก็ไม่รู้เหมือนกันขั้นแรกก็คงจะต้องให้พวกเขาเนี่ยเจอพวกเขาได้อย่างแบบตัวต่อตัวแล้วก็ถ้าไม่เป็นไปตามนั้นก็จะต้องทำตามสโลแกนไปซ้ำๆเรื่อยๆ
And now, people are getting lynched, I hear. Behind the whirling in rags, a disastrous situation if there ever was one.
แต่ตอนนี้มีคนที่ถูกรุมประชาทัณฑ์ฉันได้ยินมาว่าอยู่ด้านหลังของ Whirling Rag นั่นแหละนี่เป็นสถานการณ์ที่ล่อแหลมมากเลยที่ฉันเคยเจอมา
Excuse me, from whom did you hear about this lynching?
ขอโทษทีนะ แต่ว่าคุณผู้หญิงได้ยินการรุมประชาทัณฑ์นี้มาจากใครอ่ะ
I first heard it from the boyar at the gates.
Boyar.
The one whose very name advertises his aversion to work. I think he said it was, "Call me mañana."
ข้อมีมานาน่าตอนแรกฉันได้ยินจากบัวยานี่หมายถึงว่าเด็กเหรอที่อยู่ที่ประตูเป็นชื่อในเป็นชื่อทางการค้าของเขานะแต่ว่าเหมือนฉันคิดว่าเขาเคยพูดว่าให้เรียกเขาว่ามานาน่า
This checks out.
ได้เรื่องละเป็นอะไรเกิดขึ้นกับ
Mr.
จำ
Clare told him to, how did he put it? Fuck off, midget. Gaumont is short of stature, you see. Yes. Keep in mind, this is a negotiator Mr. Clare has worked with before, and who was more than fair with him and the union. Everard Clare is a man of the utmost integrity. If you can say one thing about him, it's that he always puts the interests of the workers first.
เอ็ดวาร์ดแคลร์นั้นเป็น utmost บรรยากาศอะที่สุด integrity เป็นคนที่มีความซื่อสัตย์อย่างที่สุดถ้าให้พูดอย่างหนึ่งเกี่ยวกับเขาแล้วก็เขาจะให้ความสนใจกับพวกคนงานเป็นอย่างแรกเป็นระดับแรกเสมอจริงเหรอ
Of course not. Everard is fantastically corrupt. I imagine he has a thick viscous goo where you and I
เพ
have
ราะว่า
blood.
เจอคนละคนกับมึงไหมเนี่ยมันแน่นอนแล้วไม่ใช่หรอกเอ็ดวาร์ดเนี่ยเป็นคนที่แบบโคตรโสมมเลยฉันเห็นภาพโคลนตมเหนียวๆอยู่รอบๆนั่นแหละ
If you were to prick it with something sharp, you could see it oozing out. A knife, maybe? No, a rapier. ถ้าคุณอยากจะเฉือนเขาด้วยอะไรที่คมแล้วก็ถ้ามีดเหรอไม่ต้องเป็นเรเปียร์เท่านั้น
การวาจาช่อดั้งคมคายยิ่งนักวา
Oh
จาช่างคน
heavens
คนไทย
no,
ทั้งนั้น
we get along just fine. Yet now that you mention it, I can't stop imagining that black treacle just dribbling down his double chin.
นี่บอกให้กูมิวว่านั่งเล่นเดี๋ยวนี้ใช่นะนี่หอมก็นอนอยู่ใต้เลยไอ้ทิกไปไหนครับไปดู
He is the most corrupt individual I have ever seen, and I deal with men like him for a living. If there is anyone more venal, more irredeemably nepotistic, then it's his twin brother, Edgar.
มีคู่แฝดด้วยเหรอเขาเป็นตัวตนที่โสมมที่สุดเท่าที่ฉันเคยเห็นมาการต่อรองกับเขาเนี่ยก็ทำเพื่อที่จะอยู่รอดเท่านั้นเอ็ดการ์เขามีฝาแฝด
Yes, Edgar looks exactly like his brother, except for that lazy eye. He also talks exactly like Everard does, and when one's term as foreman is up, the other takes over.
งั้นเราเจอเป็นที่เราเจอเป็นเอ็ดการ์หรือเปล่า
It's how they circumvent the term limits, you see, with a funny little switcheroo. While in office, they've embezzled God knows how much of their workers' dues. The Debarders Union was once a perfectly normal institution. 20 years ago, anyway. It must not have been easy to establish under the Emergency Act, but they did it. I can respect that.
ยูเนียนนอกเหนือการปกครองของพี่น้องแคลร์เนี่ยก็เป็นบริษัททั่วไปที่อยู่ได้มา20 กว่าปีแล้วไม่ใช่เรื่องง่ายเลยที่จะก่อตั้งในยุคที่วุ่นวายแบบนี้แต่ว่าเขาก็ทำมัน
Organized labor at its best, as they say. Then something happened in the local chapter elections. The brothers Clare came and transformed it into a, how do you say?
มีการจัดการแรงงานอย่างเยี่ยมยอดแล้วก็มีการเลือกตั้งประชาคมแต่ว่าในเมื่อพี่น้องแคลร์มาถึงเนี่ยแล้วก็เปลี่ยนให้เป็นแบบพูดว่าอย่างไงดีอะ
A mob. The Debarders are a crime syndicate. Sad as it may be, I suspect we'll be forced to cooperate with them.
เหมือนองค์กรที่แบบเป็นเหมือนแบบแก๊งเป็นแก๊งวิดเดอแก๊งสโมกวิดเดอแก๊งอยู่กับแก๊งกินกับแก๊ง
Refreshingly honest, officer. The company has tried appeasing in the past, but I'm afraid our concessions have only emboldened Everard and his brother. And your opinion, detective, if I may ask? I'm a curious and talkative person, you see. Would you say the Debarders Union is?
แล้วความเห็นคุณนักสืบเป็นยังไงบ้างล่ะถ้าฉันจะถามนะมีประสิทธิ์ตัวใหญ่ดูดหรือซอยอยู่
Indeed, and a hungry one. Sadly, Wild Pines have cooperated with what amounts to a crime syndicate for 2 decades. However much you feed the leech always hungers.
แต่น่าเศร้าที่วายพายเนี่ยก็ร่วมธุรกิจอยู่กับพวกแก๊งมาเฟียพวกนี้มา2 ทศวรรษแล้วก็คอยให้อาหารพวกปรสิตพวกนี้และปรสิตพวกนี้ก็หิวตลอดเวลา
The scabs. You mean the huddled masses of Jamrock come to plead for work where the union refuses to?
Don't let her answer it herself.
If the workers were organized by Wild Pines, then it would be a company secret. I could not share it with you. Not yet, at least.
เป็นคนของวายพายที่ส่งมาสไตล์นั่นเอง แต่ก็ไม่บอกถึงจะส่งตอนนี้แล้วนะ
It's implied she's open to discussing this matter with you at a later occasion.
เปิดโอกาสให้การซักถามแล้วแต่ว่าไม่ใช่ตอนนี้เป็นโอกาสหน้าพูดอย่างหนึ่งเกี่ยวกับการเลือกตั้งใช่ไหม
I'm glad you asked. There was
ดี
a
ใจที่
woman,
ถามนะ
the previous forewoman of the union. She disappeared.
มีหัวหน้าคนงานที่เป็นผู้หญิงแล้วหายตัวไป
Disappeared?
หายไปงั้นเหรอ
Yes. On the last day of the local chapter elections, her daughter phoned in and said she wasn't running anymore, or coming to work. Ever. End of story.
วันสุดท้ายของการเลือกตั้งลูกสาวของเธอก็โทรมาแล้วบอกว่าเธอไม่หายไปแล้วไม่มาทำงานด้วยแล้วก็จ
This
บ
forewoman, her name?
ชื่อว่าอะไรล่ะ
Sadly, the company records do not even give a name. She's just forewoman in private correspondence, Holly. I don't even know if it's a sir or given name, and I don't have access to the union's files.
เอรี่ป่ะ
Downright haunting, if you ask me. The Wild Pines suspected foul play, but what could they do? It was a union matter. The point of the presentation is, these kinds of things happen around the Clares. Watch out when you're dealing with him.
สิ่งที่ควรสนใจก็คือ สิ่งพวกนี้มันเกิดขึ้นรอบๆตัวของพี่น้องแคลร์หมดเลยควรระวัง
Thank
ตั
you
ว
for your concern, ma'am. We'll be just fine.
Of course. How else can I help? Quite a few things, I'm afraid.
รู้อะไรบ้างเกี่ยวกับการประชาทันก็รู้บางอย่างนิดหน่อยนะ
The information I'm to share with you includes sensitive trade secrets. For the sake of my employer, I have to ask for your names and badge numbers.
สิ่งที่ฉันจะพูดด้วยเนี่ยเป็นเปลี่ยนข้อมูลด้วยเนี่ยเป็นความลับทางการค้าที่ค่อนข้างเซนซิทีฟนะเพื่อประโยชน์ของผู้ว่าจ้างก็ฉันควรจะถามชื่อแล้วก็บัตร
Of course, ma'am. We should have introduced ourselves. I am Lieutenant Kitsuragi from Precinct 57.
คือหมวดคิสุรกิจาก Present 57 ครับ
And this is my colleague from Precinct 41. I'm afraid he doesn't have his badge at the
คู่ของผม
moment. I hope mine will
มาจาก
suffice.
Present 41 แต่ว่าเขาไม่มีตาตอนนี้นะแค่ของผมก็น่าจะเพียงพอแล้ว
How curious. Why is that,
น่าสงสัย
detective?
จังมันอยู่ไหนอ่ะ
'Twas stolen by some artist, surely. Best to pin the blame on them. Everyone knows you can't trust artists.
ต้องดราม่าต้องเส้นให้โทษอาร์ติสต์เหรอจริงเหรออ่ะไปกูเชื่อ
You mean someone stole your badge? I don't, in fact. I'm afraid what I need to tell you is wholly unrelated to art. I really need to discuss it, however, with the RCM, and I need your badge for that.
เอ้า
Unbelievable, sire. Even the performance artists didn't work.
ก็มึงบอกให้กูทำไอ้หัวเวนเอ้ย
I see.
อ๋อผม
So, are you saying you lost your badge
ผมหลอน
during
ครั
the
บ
course of this episode?
ผมหลอนเพราะผมมีอาการข้างเคียงครับ
I can't hear you, darling. Speak up, please.
อ่ามัมมัมมัมมัมมัมมัมมัมมัมมัมมัม
Oh dear. Some kind of encephalopathic amnesia. I don't even know how to respond.
ไม่รู้จะตอบสนองอะไรเลย มันเป็นการสูญเสียความทรงจำประเภทหนึ่งใช่ไหม
I do believe you,
sure,
naive as that may
sure,
sound. I simply can't imagine what you gain by faking such a condition.
ไม่เห็นว่าจะเป็นการเฟกแต่อย่างใดเลย
As I said, ma'am, his technique may be very unconventional.
อย่างที่
but he
ผมบอก
is
เขา
an
หลอน
officer
ไปนิดนึง
of
อะ
the RCM.
แต่ว่าเขาเป็นเจ้าที่ของอาซีแน่นอน
Of course, I sympathize. But I'm afraid I simply can't share anything more until I've seen that badge.
เอาไม่เห็นตาก็พูด
She's
ไม่
a
ได้
professional negotiator. She should be open to some sort of mutually beneficial arrangement.
จะเป็นพูดนักเจรจาที่โปรเหลือเกินนะ 42% ไม่น่าเสี่ยงอะเป็นเรทเช็คซะด้วย เดี๋ยวมาใหม่แล้วกัน
Of course. But before we do, officers, let me be perfectly clear. The situation is extremely volatile. The sooner we can speak about this lynching business, the better for all of us.
เข้าใจว่าต้องระวังตัวนะ ขอเซฟก่อนนะป้า
Of course, detective.
คิดอะไรเสร็จแล้วเนี่ย
Aces low.
เอสโลการแปะมืออะ
For the rest of the world, the aces low is just some cool Revachol thing, politically neutral. In Revachol, it still holds revolutionary connotations. Also, have you looked at Lieutenant Kitsuragi's clothes? He wears a bomber jacket, just like the ones worn by aerostatic brigades. And those cargo pants look like they could fit tools for hot fixing your burning aerostatic. You should ask him about this.
Yes? What about me? What? This? It's just seasonal clothing. Where is this going? Interesting. I think it's called the brain.
It's no mere brain.
Anyway. I do not have a thing with revolutionary air brigades in particular. Okay, I wanted to become an aerostatic pilot. Then I turned 10 and realized we no longer have an air force. Absolutely nothing.
The revolutionary must have added a little luster to it for a 10-year-old Kitsuragi. He will never admit it, though.
Okay, I admit to it. The revolution employed a more forward-looking 8-rotor design. Their blades were foldable and their pilots were better trained and motivated. I see this from a purely tactical standpoint, of course. Good. What do you mean? I have no idea what...
The lieutenant's conceptualization skills must be rather rudimentary.
What? Think? I do most of my...
The lieutenant produces his familiar mnemotechnique. We all have our different mediums. You're super lucid, yet psychedelic. You don't need office supplies to connect to you.
Good.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with? Not an umbrella, I hope. I don't need one myself, you see. Sadly, I need this one myself. It's hydrophobic, repels water, almost magically. The company makes them for... What I can do for you is answer some questions. Nothing like talking to pass a rainy day.
รู้จักลายศัพท์
That's the
เนี่ย
man who was killed.
นี่เป็นคนที่โดนฆ่านี่
I'm afraid this is a discussion for once we've cleared the lynching question.
ฉันเกรงว่าการสนทนานี้เป็นการตั้งคำถามเกี่ยวกับการประชาทัณฑ์
Better not tie the fourth day to the backstay on this. I hope there is something else I can help you with.
ช่วยไม่ได้เรื่องนี้เหรอ
Why, yes I am. The boat? No. It is called Cordelati 19 because that's the type of sloop it is. It's a pleasure craft, a 19 pacer. It also happens to be rated for Category 1 racing, though these days I mainly use it for business. My sloop? I like it a lot. It's the eel's hips, baby.
I'm enjoying this part of the interview. It has so little to do with the murder we're investigating.
Good. This reality.
Yes, reality is your side case, an experimental side case.
Ah, yes, the episode. Sounds like an acute case of encephalopathy, now that I think of it.
Don't be phased, madame. He functions perfectly well. He only needs a lowdown on all of reality.
We may be here a while then. Ask away, officer. I'll help however I can.
All right, we're in. I know these all look good, but begin with the first, okay?
เขาเอาด้วยและตอนนี้ก็เหมือนกำลังไปได้ดีแต่ว่าเริ่มต้น
We're in Martinez, baby. Martinez is a district of Revachol. A very small district tucked away near the industrial harbour. Not you would be excused for not knowing about it. Unimportant, they say. Forgotten even. Shelled to smithereens during the revolution. It has its charms, just not this time of year. It's not really a sea, it's the Bay of Revachol. And the bay feeds into the ocean. Yes. We're on an island in an ocean, The world's largest.
Known to the early Revacholians as les immensités bleues, the blue immensities, vast, lukewarm and unknowable, flowing in and out of sight.
I'm not a good ambassador. I've only been here once before, as a teenager. Not a lot has changed.
นี่อะไรเป็น
There
เป็
are
นมาก
ruins,
เป็น
a
ซากปรักพัง
terminal,
เทอร์มิ
fishing
นอลแล้วก็
boats, reeds,
เรือตกปลา
boys with boxy shoulders. This place used to be a province, a workers' resort before the city swallowed it and the artillery did its work. The reeds are the real star of the show here now. The further down the coast, the wilder it gets. Caillou. Imagine a pebble, a smoothed over pebble amidst a great blue sea, misshapen, cracked. The cracks are the river Esperance. We're in the delta of this river on the 6th branch, the Martinez distributary.
It is clear this pebble is of enormous value to her.
เพปเบิล pavement pebble
And to humanity at large.
มันที่ช่างกว้างใหญ่
Revachol? Revachol is what you call a city,
แล้วเมืองโรวชอคือเมืองประเภทไหน
the great kind.
ประเภทที่ใหญ่มากเลย
As if it's self-explanatory, beyond patriotism, a fact.
History detective. They built this city to resolve history. Our part in it, at least. Our centuries. In the DeLorean century, 380 years ago,
ปีก่อน
the nations of the Occident, or migrant workers from Seminine and Ile-Marat, depending on your creed. They say it's where the terrible questions of our time will be answered. The tensions are highest, the fault lines deepest. By that I mean conflicts. Ideological conflicts. The stuff of men. We are standing on a fertile, self-sufficient island able to sustain up to 200 million people in the middle of the Insulindic Ocean, the world's connected tissue. It's where the money is. Oh, we're quite a way off. About
A sparkle of lights on the horizon, like evening stars above the curvature of the planet.
22 kilometers from the center of the world. That soldering iron is the bank of the world building. The bottom floors are Insiacom, coalition government, Insulindian Mission Command.
ศูนย์กลางของโลกอยู่ที่ 200 กิโลเมตรตรงนู้นเป็นที่ตั้งของแบงก์โลก
Silence. She lowers her hand. The water, the light. It's as though you're seeing it for the first. There is no recognition, only the immensity of the sea and the cold radiating from it.
We are where we are. I have no truer answer to give, unfortunately.
This is one thought you need to complete.
Was there something else you wanted to know? I remember something about a lowdown.
This has been informative. Thank you, ma'am. I'm sure my memory-impaired partner has many more questions to ask, about even more fundamental aspects of reality. Might I suggest not asking them all right now? Ma'am, Monsieur will be here later too, and tomorrow. Isn't that true, ma'am?
Absolutely. My commitment here is long-term.
It's better not to eat all your candy at once.
Indeed. I'm always at your service. Glad to have been of assistance. The little that I know.
นี่ชอบมาขัดกันอยู่เรื่อยเลยเข้าไปแล้วเพื่อน
Give me a moment.
รอแป๊บ
The cold never does any good for my bronchitis.
โอ้กระดูกกระเดี่ยวไม่ค่อยดีเลยหนาวขนาดนี้เรียกหมอป่ะ
I'm fine.
ไม่เป็นไรอะ
Fine. Don't you worry about me.
แล้วทำไมข้างนอกมั
What
น
do
จิก
you want from me,
ต้องการอะไร
policeman?
บริษ
She's the cleaning lady. She knows the floor plan and the residents.
I'm no one. Just an old woman who cleans these halls. If you can call it living. I have a little room upstairs right next to the cold room. It's barely bigger than a closet. But I don't complain, no. I have my bed and my aching bones to keep me company. And that's all I need from this world.
She hasn't spoken to anyone for a while. Even her sentences feel rusty.
Ask away, policeman. The artiste? Nothing I can do about her, I'm afraid. She ruins the walls faster than I can clean them. Still, she leaves an old lady to her business. More than I can say for others.
She mumbles some kind of a response, then hacks something into her handkerchief.
Yes, I know who you mean. The scrawny boy who's always smoking like the devil, right?
Somewhere in the building, a child starts crying. You hear a radio tuned to a talk show and someone taking a shower.
What's he in trouble for? Talk?
อ้าวเป็นไรยาย
What was so funny about
ตลกอะไร
that?
นักหนาเนี่ยที่จะคุยกับผู้ชายคน
He's
นี้
upstairs in room
เขา
28.
อยู่ที่ห้อง
Go to the
28ข้างบนเลยนะ
balcony. It's one of those doors there. He's usually home in the evening.
เขาอยู่ห้องเสมอตอนเย็นน่ะ
Thank you. We should go check out his apartment on the
เดี๋
back.
ยวไปดูนะยายครับห้องนี้ห้องอะไรเนี่ย
Ruination has come. The broken arches betray the once grand history of this building. It towered over the harbor until it happened. A great force from the northeast fired into the city. Heavy artillery shelled the coastline. Fired from the water. A straight shot
อ๋อ
into
ปืนใหญ่ยิง
Revachol.
ใส่กระตุ้มตั้ม
The tenement acted as a defensive wall against the worst of the shelling until it was destroyed, and they had a direct firing line.
ถล่มกำแพงยับ
Those arches acted as support for something greater than what you see now. Only 3 stories stand where 9 to 12 once did. Restoration has failed. What the shelling took out was never rebuilt.
สร้างใหม่ไม่ได้แล้ว
The waves of the Martinez Inlet rolled over the fallen remains of the building. The dark waters obscured the better part of the remains. What didn't fall into the ocean was used as scrap. What wasn't used as scrap was thrown into the ocean. A fleet, the combined armies of Occident and Grad, with Mesk volunteers, a 5-nation army, hundreds of vessels. They massed airships further down in the Bay of Revachol, The artillery was so powerful. The ships not only required gyroscopic stabilization, they were anchored into the ocean floor as well. Many are still there to this day. If you squint, you can just barely see the shadow on the water, far in the northeast. Cannons still ready to placate Rivershore.
ก็ยังตั้ง
Coalition warship Archer can shoot 50 shells a minute on 20 coaligned archers. They will reach the city in 58 seconds.
The coalition. But that was a long time ago. I think we should move on. It's chilly up here.
ได้
Ooh, the piggies have learned how to saunter up staircases. I didn't think you could do that with hooves. But here you are. Yeah, I can see that. Cool mutations.
That smell coming from her paint bucket. It's not paint. It's heavy fuel oil. Red-dyed heavy fuel oil is only used in government vehicles, or at least that's the idea.
What did you think I was using? Aquarels? Sucked it out of a cop's fuel tank myself. Back in Jamrock. You ain't seen nothing yet, Piggy Boo.
มีใครอยู่ด้านหลังนั้นเดี๋ยวอ่ะกูมาแงะนะครับหมูวิ่งอยู่อ๋อนี่คือห้องคุณย่าเนี่ยเนาะเรื่องโรยมีฐานมากพอที่รอดฤดูหนาวนี่ย่าพวกเราเนี่ยกางเกงจัดไปขโมยแม่งหมดreaction speed แล้วเท่าไหร่for closed by Martinez Realty Association คนพังคนเอาหมดครับอะไรพอดการ์ด
You hear someone walking around inside, rearranging the furniture. The number on the panel says, You hear someone. You hear someone.
to
The
come.
walking stops abruptly, but no one comes. You can feel tension on the other side. A poor communard, from the looks of it. The room is barely bigger than a closet. This door has been closed with a padlock. A chalk-drawn number on the board says, now it's a solid lump of metal, but the shekel is deeply corroded. Better whip out those cutters. You won't get very far otherwise. No reply. This door has been closed with a padlock. What are you doing?
I believe it's the shackle you mean to cut, Detective. Perhaps you should give it another go.
The shekel?
After you, Detective.
เปิดประตูเปิดออกดูชีวิตคุณอะไรเนี่ยนักปฏิวัติชอบพูด critical theory
A plaster cast bust depicts a middle-aged man with impressive sideburns. The name on the plinth reads, Krasmazov Nomdegir was an economist and a theoretical historian. He was a leading figure in the Grad side of the turn-of-the-century revolution, where he headed the 9-day government. Mazov is considered the father of scientific communism, Mazovian thought, or Mazovianism.
I suspect that's exactly what they're trying to do. There aren't many communists around, not after the revolution. Some youth still keep the ideology going, it seems. The White Star, the photos on the wall. I think we have broken into the apartment of a young communard. How fitting.
This door is made of metal and appears to be reinforced. Someone here really values number 28. This is where the cleaning lady said the smoker on the...
Let's see if anyone's home.
This door is made of metal. Number 20.
Let's see if...
No one answers.
Looks like the young man we are looking for isn't home. I think our best chance to catch him is in the evening. We should return tomorrow after we have finished with our day's work. How about 9 p.m.? Sound good? Tomorrow, 9 p.m., right here. Apartment number 28.
Damn. Turns out it's quite tricky finding someone in a big apartment building. Don't worry. You'll get... Remember, tomorrow. He's probably gone for today.
แว่นตาอ๋อไม่เปิดไม่เปิดไม่เปิดไม่เปิดไม่เปิด
Just an ordinary wall. Nothing to see here. This coin-operated viewer is facing southwest. This coin-operated viewer is facing south. It is given up. Your money disappears into the coin slot. A clunk. The ring of metal. The curtains on the display open. You lean in to catch the view. It's blurry. Different blues and greens. In the middle of the shimmer, the lenses shift. The ghost sharpens into an islet in the bay. In the ruins, a man, it looks as if it was a bat.
Really? I don't have the eyesight to make it out. Really? I don't...
A cockatoo is a parrot with an erectile crest, found on the Seminole Islands and in southern Fas a la Mer. Known for their intelligence and general precociousness, cockatoos are popular birds in aviculture. However, this book talks about the delicate nature of toos, as well as introducing some of the most popular species among the bird enthusiasts. The funeral cockatoo, the major majestic cockatoo, and the most common bang bang cockatoo. It's colorfully illustrated. This is a yellow-tailed black cockatoo. Its specific name, Psittacus venereus, relates to its dark and somber plumage. This bird looks as if dressed for a funeral, 24/7. There is something indisputably ominous about it. Perhaps the most impressive of all the species, the endangered major majestic cockatoo, is often described as the most flamboyant bird in the jungle. Its pink-colored wings and flowing crest embellishing its proud and bumptious nature. In the words of poet-explorer Sir James Fournier, few birds more enliven the monotonous hues of the verdant forest than this big, bold, and beautiful species. Despite its banging name, the bang bang cockatoo is actually the shyest of the species, common in almost all Seminoles forests, as well as zoos and homes all over the world. Its plumage is mainly grey and white. The Seminoles name bang bang is thought to be of onomatopoeic origins. Where to even begin? All cockatoos are known for their needy natures, requiring attention for at least 2 full hours a day. They love to talk and have been described as lovable clowns who just don't know how to wrap up. Pet owners also report moodiness, loudness, and hostility as recurring issues. If left unsatisfied, cockatoos may scream non-stop, pluck their feathers, or become aggressive. It is not recommended to get a cockatoo if you're not able to cook them food every day and give them the full care that they need. These birds will never understand that you have a life of your own. You're right. Cockatoos are magnificent creatures. They love to perform, cuddle and show off, and will even scream for fun, often as loud as up to 135 decibels. Ouch. That must hurt. Not great for the neighbors. Performing? Yes, birdie. Yes, but all those cockatoo species are so different. Which one are you? You're right. You're Psittacus venereus embodied. This ominous bird belongs on your heraldry.
Excuse me? I don't know. The most talkative one? The what now? You truly are one strange cop, aren't you? Excuse me? I don't know. The most talkative... The what now? You truly are one strange cop, aren't you? I don't mean...
For what it's worth, I agree. But cockatoos...
I don't even have a cockatoo.
It's a trap. Never ever say what.
Great. Nothing. Go read up on them if you're so interested.
Maybe you should check that cockatoo book again. What if the cockatoo is your heraldic bird?
Please, let's do.
The woman...
The purity of snow always reminds me of the purity of a man's soul, if he's got principles. Ah, yes. King Philip III on the...
Oh, absolutely. At the mercy of a cocaine-snorting tyrant who emptied the treasury so he could sleep on a bed of gold.
A superpower, feared and respected. A testament to what this country can be under the leadership of a true king. Someone who knows how to rule decisively, without fear of offending the sensibilities of the frail and weak-minded among his subjects. This is something the insurgents never understood. Revachol would be a different place if more people realize that.
Don't get started on that again. What happened, happened.
The carabiner doesn't reply, but his entire being communicates. Unbreak. No one and nothing can change this man's mind. He is as rigid as they come, still in that antique uniform.
Right. It's a Bell McGrave. 4.46 caliber. Breech loading. Revachol made. Go.
His moves are quick and precise as he first checks the weapon, then aims it at the sea. This man knows firearms.
This one's inoperable. The bolt spring is missing and the mechanism is jammed shut. Still a beauty. Where did you find her? I'm not surprised. There are probably lots of forgotten wartime weapons lying around here. As for the rifle, I don't know what else to tell you. These BM-446s are an antique. No one uses them anymore. The ammunition is impossible to find. Ah, yes.
Oh,
A superpower, decisively. Without fear of defeat, a nation is only as strong as...
don't get
The carabin, no one and nothing.
Right.
Officer, the mere sight of police in Martinez makes me feel sure, officer. No, thank you.
Hello, hello. Let me know if I can...
The boomboxes wait on the shelves, and a typical Martinez streetlight sits among assorted You see, Ro, try to find something pretty and cool here, then use it to win her back. Yes, buy something nice. This sounds off. You shouldn't trust this guy.
Now it's turning into a kind of a snow limbo, man. What's on your mind?
Everything's still cool here, officer. You mean these belly?
No hassle. There's a little of a hassle here, it appears.
They're very... shine on these sunglasses lasts a lifetime, officer. 100% guaranteed.
Looking for something odd?
Right, two. A lorry stuck in the windows are clear.
All I'm wondering, man, how can I help you? You know,
He's a chatty guy. Wants to talk about the strike.
serious.
He's a chatty guy. The unpromising race pupil returns. And look, babe. The minion of law is also a racist. But his racism is basic and
So unadvanced.
the basic race education he received in high school has led him to think his phylum are the sole authors of race theory. An esoteric study reaching back to the ancient mass society of basic racist. I take pity on you. You clearly want to enter the harbor bad, like a little boy who wants to go on the potty. I can press the button for you. It will up very well. You may enter the door once. Our race conversation here has
Finally. Let's go.
The unpromising race pupil returns.
All I'm wondering, man. You know.
He's a chap. On second glance, someone has forgotten to properly close one of the drawers.
It's unfortunate for the Union to just leave their paperwork lying around like this.
The drawer opens smoothly. Inside is a well-organized selection of brown folders. Hundreds of documents containing logistical data. Two kinds of transactions stand out. Materials coming into Revachol from the out and the same materials being handed over to companies inside Revachol. Coulon, Coal City, La Delta, and Jamrock are listed among the many districts where the imports are being sold. It's hard to make sense of this thicket of company names, dates, quantities, and percentages. You try to focus, but the lines are getting blurry. Look how blurry all the hermeneutics was almost within your grasp, but now only vague letters float before your eyes. Less meaningful, but aesthetically more pleasing. You're a police officer, not a spiritual healer. You can focus the normal way, but
Is that what you're doing with those photos over there? Right. This is probably not relevant to our case. After all, we're not investigating an accounting mystery.
whatever's hidden here is hidden well. Concentration isn't enough. Only a trained accountant with a background in logistics would be able to really make sense of it. However, there is a little handwritten note stuck on the side of the drawer. It appears to be a to-do list written in large, uneven capital letter. Remember, Leo, Everard's shoes, special whirling borscht, water Everard's plants, sweep office floor, more banners. All items on the list have been crossed out and the note itself is crumpled.
Everard Clare, probably, the head of the Debarders Union. One of his aides must have left it. Nothing incriminating here.
The special borscht seems a bit odd in the list. What is so special about this borscht? Code for drugs, booze, blood. Remember, Leo, Everard's shoe. All items on the list have been crossed out and the note itself is crumpled. The drawer slides shut. An imposing combination of a punch clock and a payphone is looking down at you from the wall. A note on the side says, tokens unavailable due to strike. use change. The file cabinet stabbed a drawer, so the already familiar cold touch. The machine swallows your coin and seems to be waiting for your next move. It's unclear whether you actually have muscle memory. Right now, your finger is just drawing vaguely occult patterns in the air. Undoubtedly, no. Sure, why not? Muscle memory is a tricky thing. The tarpaulin cloak. As your fingers touch the tarpaulin, it almost feels like the cloak wants to deliver a message of... This is the night watchman's booth. The name on the door reads, René Arnaud.
If you must. But please hurry. We are pretty easy to spot up here.
Nothing incriminating catches your eye. The cabinets are clean and their sparse contents. It's a black and white photo of a young couple out in a street fair. The man, René, is dressed in a Royal Carabinier uniform.
Why did you take that picture of René? Fine, but let's move. I don't want...
This is an... rusting control panel with several knobs. 2 buttons marked Marche and Arrête are faded with Marche. On. With a loud grind, the crane shifts overhead, moving a massive metal container through the air. With a surprisingly quiet thunk, the crane places the container. The harbor sleeps as the strike rages in the distance. The crane can rest again, now that its purpose has been fulfilled. Moving this container, of course. For this purpose it was built. For this purpose it has acted.
I can't see how that was worth the wreckers, except for seeing the crane in action, which I admit was satisfying.
A rusting control. The crane does not return to its original position. It does not move at all. Before you stands a cargo container.
You do? There are a million containers here. Why are you fixating on this one? There may very well be, but we are not here to look for that. We are not here to interact with containers. We are here to interview the union boss.
You attempt to turn to your left. The lieutenant considers your actions. With some puzzle, no reply. The knock produces a hollow ring of metal. Doesn't sound like there's anything inside the container. You're back before the cargo container. It's drawn.
Container, I'll turn you nice and red.
The lyrics to this container song are being made up as he goes. The accent is so thick, it's impossible not to notice he's Ubi, from the vanishing peninsula of Ubisunt on Muindi.
Container, used to be Wild Pines. Container, Evrard, he looks after everyone. Huh? Well, I see you are not a union man, mister. Did you get lost? You're not one of them scabs, are you? I mean, I don't personally mind. Folks is just folks, you know, and folks gotta eat. Just some of the other guys don't look too kindly on the scabbing kind, if you know what I mean, mister. Oh yes, born and raised in Irish, mister. Mum had to leave my dad after he got a bit violent. Took us here to the new world. I was about 10 then, too old to lose my accent then. People say us Ubis are up to all sorts of trouble with sheep and other animals and whatnot. I just want you to know there was never any of that where I come from. No sir, those are just
Thank you for clarifying that, sir.
Oh, I'm just making some covers for them containers here. Yes I am. So it's easier for the crane operators to spot them.
The containers in the yard are green in Wild Pine's livery, and the mountains rising behind Leo is all red in Union colors. It's like some red infection was spreading outwards from the container yards. There appear to be cisterns underneath the Union container covers.
No, not really. Mr. Everett doesn't tell me all the big things. Says I go and tell them to everyone.
Yes, they are hiding it from the inside. All the red containers have the Debarders Union logo on them.
Oh, I don't know, mister. They say it's some chemicals. Most of them have labels on them, I think. Oh, no trouble at all, mister. No trouble at all. Oh, most of the guys are down at the gates, keeping the scabs from coming in. We're on a strike. The whole union is. You don't have to work when you're on strike. Ha! We haven't worked for 2...
So no one is working?
Not everyone is down there, of course. Mr. Everard is in his office, where he always is, and Jean-Luc is guarding the gate. But Titus and his boys got into some drunken trouble and Everard sent them on a nice vacation for a week or so. Whoa, I'm not really supposed to talk about that. That's union business. Him and his boys stirred up something in town. Probably drank too much and got into a fight or something. I heard Mr. Everett telling him to take some time off. I guess the boys got a bit too rowdy and had to let out some steam. I don't really know the details. Well, that's just how boys are, you know. I haven't been in a fight since I was in middle school.
Easy, Leo. Let's keep this on the hearties.
Look at him. It's not going to be anything useful anyway. Don't fight it. Better to go with the flow.
I remember I was the runt of the class. The bigger boys always used to pick on me. You see, I had a bit of a temper back in the day. Flew off the handle like nobody's business. But Mr. Everett and his brother always came to help. Once they beat old Noel Becker so bad he needed stitches on his head. Noel never started another fight with anyone after this. Mr. Everett and Mr. Edgar are real nice guys, mister. You should go talk to Mr. Everett. I'm sure you'll be good friends. He's friends with everyone around here.
You're never getting anything useful out of him. It's good enough you found out Everard has a brother called Edgar, and he helped Leo.
Yes, yes. Everybody needs a job, and this is mine. I'm Leonard, by the way. Leonard Bellick. I'm like Mr. Everett's right-hand man when Mr. Edgar is out of town, and Mr. Edgar's right-hand man when Mr. Everett is away. Actually, Miss Beaufort is the right-hand man, but she's a lady.
Who is this, Miss Beaufort?
A real pretty lady with a skin like those Douai Sucre candy bars my missus likes so much. Them are real nice to suckle on once the dinner is done and me and the missus sit down beside the raid. But I can't listen to the radio all the time. There's so much to do around here and I'm always busy keeping things running here. Yes, I am.
Stay on this Miss Beaufort topic.
Oh, Lizzie, she is a real sharp tool. Mr. Everett put her through some fancy school and everything, east of the river. 4 years she was gone, and when she came back, she was all fancy and lawyerly.
He respects that word. That's obvious.
But she's a real nice girl. Grew up in this here neighborhood, knows everybody and gets along with everyone. Real pillar of the community one day. I'm sure if me missus and me was to have a child, I'd be real happy if she turned out like her. But she can't have kids. Dr. Lemaitre said so, and she knows about such things. Been a doctor for almost 50 years she has.
Law school? Could she be talking about the union fixer, aka the gardener?
Looks like it.
I'm not sure what a fixer is, but she is a real nice girl. Smart as a whip too.
Telling the gardener you know her name might throw her off. Perhaps something to consider later.
Oh yes, yes. I leave all kinds of notes for myself. That old head of mine ain't so good at keeping things in no more. I almost forgot about the borscht. Oh yes, I've been taking special whirling borscht to the men every day since the strike started. It's very, very good. Makes a man feel so warm and happy. I feel like I could take on Mr. Renadan's boar dogs every time the lunch is done. Yes, yes. I'm taking it to them. The borscht keeps them happy and in fighting spirits. Makes you all warm inside. They brew it in the whirling in rags. whirling's cook. He makes it. Them is always talking with Mr. Manana in that weird language and laughing together. He doesn't speak what we speak. He's from Grad. Oh, sure, mister. Sure. You do that. Yes, sir.
He didn't actually understand what you meant, and now he's just nodding along.
Oh, that one. That should be empty as far as I know. Lots of containers here have nothing in them. They're just waiting to be loaded up.
Told you.
Oh, you want Mr. Everard then? He's an awfully nice fellow, he is. Him and his brother are both nice fellows. They've lived their entire lives in this here neighbourhood. Guys like Mr. Everard and Mr. Edgar, his brother, are real good guys. Made merchandise what it is today. Mr. Everard and Mr. Edgar and I went to the same school, we did, when we were boys. Oh, Mr. Everard is usually in his office, of course. But he already left for the day. He always leaves around 10 p.m. Bye-bye now.
A large table with two huge vacuum-insulated thermal coffee dispensers. You snatch out the red plastic card. It features a black contour of a crane lifting a container. The name, Etienne Ogart, is written in the middle. Below it, in smaller text, Mem.
Yes? What about me? Good. Let's change the subject.
Oh, hey, mister. I knew you'd be back to talk with old Leo here. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. It's like Lady Larice said when she opened a bathhouse in the basement of my apartment building. They could only get so far before they're aching to get back. And lots of folk really did keep coming back. Sure, mister. Absolutely. I'm always willing to help out nice fellows such as yourself. Oh, hey, mister. I'm not gonna bother you with a long... Oh, you want Mr. Everard then? He's an awfully nice... Guys like Mr. Everard and Mr. Edgar, his brother, are real good guys. Made merchandise what it is today. Mr. Everard... Oh, Mr. Everard is usually in his office, of course. But he already left for the day. He always leaves around 10 p.m.
The already familiar.
The unpromising race pupil returns. There is not, I cannot possibly.
Fuck does Kudo care? Fucking right, Pink. Kudo's filling bathtubs with that shit. Kudo's a kingpin. Fuck no.
Lying that you need to befriend him first.
Yeah? The kingdom of Kudo? Yeah, whatever. Kudo doesn't give a shit. The fuck do you... Good call, Pigmeister. Kudo doesn't...
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out toolbox, and the...
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you? No, and I doubt they'll get back to me before tomorrow morning. 57.
In the cabin,
I've got nothing to say to you. Why are you wasting your time? I suggest not wasting time on trivial pleasantries and focusing on why you are actually here. Titus Hardy.
even though she has excellent control over herself, something moved behind her eyes, in the way she stands, in her face.
You are not here to chat up the legal counsel. You are here to question these. I suggest you are not here to. I suggest.
Even though she.
No. Talk to Titus.
Looks like the circus left him, but the clowns are still here. A bullet, you say? That's mighty curious.
Indeed, mighty. How did it get there?
Well, there are so many bullets in the world, and so many heads. I guess it's only logical. At some point, One of them bullets had to end up in one of them heads. It's bound to happen again, you know? Just statistically speaking, of course.
Sire, it would be an event most dramatic if you were to produce the bullet and dangle it before their very eyes.
Shit! I probably did shoot him. I was drunk last night. You guys know me when I'm drunk.
Yeah, Glenn likes to shoot his guns when he's drunk.
No, he meant before he was hanged. Did you shoot him before you hanged him?
Before? After? During? This is getting ridiculous. They told you what happened. Stop wasting your time.
You know what I think? I think he was shot in the head as a kid, and his brain grew around the bullet.
Around the bullet, man. That's a good one.
All the goofing around is to avoid lying. It's a technique.
ได้ไหมเนี่ย
Wow! He's got it in a real evidence bag and all.
Why don't you go home and log it into evidence? These men have told you what happened.
Never been worried in my life. Roman.
It's not like you blew it wide open, but there's a little crack in there somewhere. The bullet is safely sealed away in a plastic bag bearing the RCM stamp. Kim has filled out the label on the bag with the item number, case number, and date and location the bullet was found. The squashed bullet has some sharp edges where the jacket has split open. It feels cold, even through. You wouldn't ordinarily have cause to handle jacketed bullets. The citizens' militia uses cast bullets only. Little pebbles of metal loaded from the muzzle, usually in a cartridge.
What? Well, if I was the bullet, which I'm not, I would say, find the weapon that shot me. If we find who owns it, we will have likely found who used it, possibly to kill our victim. Conclusion. The more we know about this bullet of yours, the better.
The jacket of the bullet is made of a yellowish metal. It has blossomed out to reveal a dark grey core. The base of the bullet is close to 5 millimeters in diameter. You can just about make out a few striations near the base of the bullet. Little hairlines, linear. It feels standard. It's quite destroyed. Some of the fragments are still lodged in the wound.
What can you say about the bullet so far? A jacketed bullet. Okay. It would have been shot from a military-grade breech-loading rifle, not from a muzzleloader, like those typically found on the streets of Martinet.
Highly unusual. The people of Revachol haven't carried breech-loading weapons like this for nearly half a century.
Even the RCM uses ordinary unjacketed conical bullets. This is strange. Very strange. I like this, officer. Strange means unique. Unique means incriminating. We need to find the gun that shot it.
A rifle, Revolutionary period. Your bullet looks to be an old 4.46 millimeter from the surplus left over from the turn of the century. Probably an antique or a retrofitted antique. The 4.46 caliber was widely used with the Belmargrave rifle, a Revacholian manufacturer. The BM dominated the battlefields of the Incidentally, You have just such a rifle with you. The dusty old thing you found hidden in the basement below the commercial area. It's unusable, sadly. If it were, the bullet would probably fit the... No, but Zivika, a major firearm manufacturer, ended up with a surplus after the war. So there are still a lot of these old military rifles floating around, usually broken. The quality was appalling. Antiques enthusiasts, guerrilla fighters in distant countries, a few lucky jamrock bangers. You're looking for the same thing you found in that hidden weapons cache, only in working order.
What are you thinking? Bullet? Okay, and? An antique. That makes sense. There can't be many breech-loading rifles floating around in Martinez, or anywhere in Ravasher, really. Sure, there's some arms trafficking, but the laws prohibiting the use of breech loaders we inherited from the monarchy have been effective, from what I've seen. Some new RCM recruits get impatient with their muzzle loaders once they've trained with military-grade weapons, but they realize it's worth it in the end.
Prohibiting peacetime law enforcement to front-loaded rifles is a policy enforced by the Moralist International in all the nations of the Real Belt.
Imagine if everyone, cops, citizens, had access to firearms that could shoot multiple rounds without pausing to reload. After the first shot, the second, third, and so on come much easier. But back to the investigation. Doesn't seem that likely, but we'll check out all possible leads. Next step, finding the gun itself. Okay, and an antique. I have to hand it to the monarchs. It's got some new RC.
Prohibiting peacetime law enforcement to front-load.
Imagine if everyone. But back to the investigation. Mysterious. Okay. Either way, we'll know when we find the gun.
The front of this quarterly journal features a large satirical portrait of the late King Friso. From the sides of his head, a pair of white antlers spread to the corners of the cover. Because Friso was incompetent, foolish, and cruel. In short, the embodiment of everything the communards wished to overthrow. It's satire, you see. Because white antlers are one of the symbols of communism. They represent a society in accord with the natural world and at the same time above it. To your disappointment, there aren't any full-color pictures to direct your attention. Just column after column of closely set text, interrupted occasionally by little doodles in black and white. After rifling the pages with your thumb several times, you return to the table of contents. The magazine is divided into several sections: international developments, Kunst und Kultur, and local concerns. Just inside the cover, there's also an editor's note. It takes a moment, but gradually it dawns on you that Kunst und Kultur, why they decided to title this one section in Volda, is beyond you. As you leaf through this section, you come across several reviews of recent radio plays, as well as a brief artist spotlight featuring a local artist identified only as CS. The main feature, though, is a long essay titled Tip Top Tournée, a critical Mazovian perspective. The Tip Top Tournée is an inter-Isolari racing series, mostly known for its high speeds, ludicrous sponsorship deals, and high death toll. In Revachol, it's held quadrennially on the prestigious Zero Carousel racing circuit. This so-called artist spotlight is really just a brief Q&A, made all the briefer by the subject's evident hostility. You think you're settling in for a relaxing recap of the most recent season, maybe sprinkled with some nice anecdotes about a few of the more colourful drivers. Instead, you find yourself skimming a 10,000-word feature about all the politically problematic aspects of Tip Top Tourney. Where to even start? For one, there's the crass commercialism of its sponsorships, and then there's the practically criminal emphasis on deadly motor crashes. So, all of it, basically. Oddly enough, this article has 2 bylines. There's no way those are real names. Have you ever met anyone named? And that precisely is what's problematic about it. Were it not for the promise of random, spectacular violence, audiences would quickly lose interest. At the end of the day, it's the destruction of these 750,000 real racers that you're really watching for. Sure, you think that, but subconsciously, it's the visions of brand names. That's because you haven't been reading critically. But don't worry. The whole point of these sorts of articles is to let someone else read critically for you.
Ah, come on. Can this article read your mind? A certain kind of young man reads 1 or 2 books and suddenly thinks he understands the secret structures of reality. If I had to wager, I'd say they've never even seen the inside of a motor, much less a motor race. I take whatever they write with a large grain of salt.
You flip back to the front of the magazine. The table of contents unfolds before you. Unsurprisingly, much of this section is taken up with articles declaring unqualified support for the dock workers. You skim the headlines. Paint the harbour red and white. Martinez tames the wild pines. A city in revolt. First we take Martinez, then we take La Delp. Finally, there's a brief article by the writer, G. Martin, accusing the owner of the Capeside Apartments of illegally attempting to evict certain communist tenants simply for not having paid their rent. Ah, this must be Gaston's handiwork. According to these editorials, private enterprise is simply a means of organizing labor that would already happen. Regardless, it goes on to call the Wild Pines a nightmarish transnational leech sucking the life from the laboring classes of. You flip back to the front of the magazine. The table of contents unfolds before. Unsurprisingly, you skim the headlines. Finally, there's a brief. Ah, this must be Gaston's handiwork. According to these editorials, there can be no accommodation with the forces of international capital. You flip back to the front of the magazine. This section includes a long, tedious critique of the latest round of free trade negotiations between the EPIS nations and the Free State. You also skip over an article about heavy fuel oil smuggling along the Messina border. Something about bear wrestling in Samara. Book riots in Ugok. Whoa. Bear wrestling. Flip back to that. It seems to be part of a new public fitness initiative in the People's Republic of Samara, SRV, devised and promoted by none other than President Kenajinsk. According to this extremely credulous account, Uncle Sport, as he's affectionately known to his people, has recently decreed bear wrestling the national sport of the SRV. Based on the description in this article, he appears to be an extremely competent Sapormat Sport. Kelazinski is well into his third decade as it's quite straightforward. A standard match features one man, or in some cases woman, against one bear. 2 competitors, 1 ring, 5 rounds. According to the SRV's Ministry of Information, the program has been a tremendous success. Public support stands at 87%, and this is the SRV we're talking about. If you think those are the real numbers, there's probably a guy who wants to sell you a bridge in La Chute. Precisely. For too long, drink has been a scourge to the working class, and President Kenajinski is deeply committed to supplying the people with more wholesome entertainments.
The Samaran People's Republic? No, I should expect not. Why do you ask? They are quite the spectacle, as I understand. I've heard they make the people in the front rows wear plastic sheets on account of the blood, you see.
You flip back to the front of the magazine, the table of contents. Comrade, as you know, this journal takes its name from Mazov's immortal expression, Du cristal à la fumée. This was his way of describing the way the rigid, crystalline structures of capitalist ideology turn to smoke under communism. But, like the structures of capitalist ideology, we too are at risk of going à la fumée. Unlike many publications which are content to spoon-feed their readers reassuring drivel, La Fumée is committed to telling the radical truth, even when that truth may drive away potentials. Only 4 issues in, and it sounds like they've already alienated. So please, if you value our radical Mazovian perspective on
What do you expect? It was laying around the office of the Debarders Union. They're probably back.
You flip back to the front of the magazine, comrade. But, like the struck only 4, so please, if you value our radical Mazovian perspective, you flip back to the front.
Oh, hello, dear.
Can I help you? Got the 20 real? Good. You got the room for the night, but remember, you'll need another 20 real tomorrow.
The door is closed. A mirror hangs on the bathroom wall. In it, your face, adorned with the expression. It belongs in the new, the 3rd decade of the current century. Enough time had passed from the failure of the revolution that, for a fleeting moment, free market economy seemed like that things were good. It was smooth sailing. People made gold and champagne-tinted interiors and facades to suit the times. Forget about ostentatious orchestrations. For Revachol, your city, That meant only one thing. Guillaume, if it doesn't rhyme, you're not pronouncing it right. Out of the dazzling swirl of disco music, in an open air, Boîte de Nuit, somewhere in Revachol West, Guillaume's blonde mane appeared on the screen. He sang some bullshit. Then he made the expression. Everyone loved it. Maybe you thought some of the stardust would rub off on you. Maybe it did. Either way, it's all gone now. Only the grimace remains. There is a vast ocean of time between right now and the expression. Looking good on you, or anyone. 2 decades, if the calendar is to be trusted. Humanity has run aground in that time. It's a different world now. The expression is a relic. The click is used to spur on a horse. It also features heavily in Guillaume Lemillion's regional mega hit, Don't Worry, Your Pretty Little Head. Sometimes you like to add finger pistols to the mix, because unlike Guillaume Lemillion, you are a police officer. It's your nifty little way to say, I'm armed and dangerous. You have some understanding of the near history of disco, plus the trivia you've picked up along the way. Episodic memory, however, remains in the dark. It may never return. You should prepare yourself for that. Not really. OO must have just stirred your mind. They're more like a disco rock band anyway. It doesn't have to be. You can swoon over Guillaume and his champagne-corked smile whenever you want to. Maybe some of the stardust will return. This is not the cleanest bathtub in the world, but it's cleaner than... that soap scum smell. It smells like life, at least compared to you. The bathtub slowly fills with water. The water beckons. The water is only lukewarm, but still comforting, like amniotic fluid. A few beer cans are bobbing up and down along your flanks, like sad duckies. Now you are alone with your thoughts in the tub, but it's easier than being alone with your thoughts outside the tub. Your fingers grow pale and are covered with tiny whirls as the water cools. You see the corpse. You can still smell the cadaver on you. It's going to take more than one bath to get rid of that. Then, houses along a narrow street, a video rental, darkness on the planet's curvature. The waterline recedes as you stand. You are cold now. Your clothes stick to your still moist. A mirror hangs on the bathroom wall. In it, your face. A mirror hangs on the bathroom wall. In it, your face, adorned with the expression. The bed is still cold. The bed is still cold from the wind blowing in from the broken window. The mattress creaks as you close your eyes and try your hardest.
Here we are again, my broken bud. The waves are coming, carrying you away. But you can't go. No, you have to stay. Or You're not cooperating, brother man. It's your disgusting body. Even through your sleep, you feel a vague discomfort suffusing it. Your belly and your sides are unpleasantly tender. You wish you could curl up into a fetal ball of safety, but you cannot because of the pain.
That pain in your right side is your enlarged liver, by the way. As for your kidneys, you've really been compounding the damage lately. But this suffering, it must have some kind of meaning. A story that will come out of it. Perhaps even a story that you will write yourself.
There's no dignity here. Only reflections of your body mass. Flashes of the day. You keep coming back to yourself in the mirror. But why? To admire all your accomplishment? You're just stuck here. In the half-world. Could try looking at other people. Really looking. But why would you want to start doing that? How many promises have you kept lately, Sir Harry? To the great see-through world. The tenderness.
Thou art honourable and just, sire. 'Tis the snakes who are vile, hissing in the grass. Women, it's the women. Look out for the women. They're oath breakers. Come now, humans have earned your trust, and you theirs.
What do you think you're doing right now? Coming to some greater awareness? Look at all these lights blinking in and out of existence. Thoughts! You're just pretending that you're asleep, even to yourself, while the world goes on without you.
Let it. Let it.
But it never seems to let you go, does it? Time to rise and wipe that shining sweat off as best you can. Gather your bearings. Rock and roll.
Put on your prettiest face for the masses. A mirror hangs on the bathroom wall.